We're going to go down to El Salvador. We're trying to make sure we can check in on Kilmar and make sure he's in good health, and talk to him about the efforts to bring him back. But the overall goal is to make sure we keep the pressure on the Trump administration to comply with the court orders from the Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's Maryland Congressman Glenn Ivey. He's the latest Democrat to head to El Salvador to visit alleged MS-13 gang member, suspected human smuggler, and don't forget accused wife beater Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Ivey falsely is claiming that Abrego Garcia is a constituent, even though he's actually a criminal illegal alien. As we showed you, Ivey joins a long list of Democrats who rushed to Abrego Garcia's side. He follows Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen and 4 other lawmakers. Van Hollen even found some time to grab a drink, we think it was a margarita, with Abrego Garcia. While President Trump has continued to show off Abrego Garcia's MS-13 gang tattoos to show who this man really is.
I'm the congressman that represents Kilmar. I came all the way down from the United States after we'd contacted their ambassador, after we'd made formal requests to our ambassador to the El Salvadoran government. And we came here to visit him today. And now they're telling us we got to go all the way back to San Salvador to get a permit. That's ridiculous. We ought to have a chance to come in and visit. They knew we were coming. They knew why we were coming. And they know we have the right to do this. So they need to just cut the crap, let us get in there and have a chance to see him and talk with him. We got his lawyer here. We got somebody from the unions here to talk with him. Let us in. Stop playing games. Let us have a chance to talk with them.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Once again, we got to talk about Democrat Party making absolute fools out of themselves, okay? Because we should all be aware of how much Democrats love illegal immigrants, right? They love them so much that they are flying overseas to try to bring them back to the United States of America, right? They want to import illegals into the country, okay? This is what they want to do. We've had Democrats be arrested trying to save illegal immigrants from ICE detention centers, okay? This is where the current state of Democrat Party is, okay? So with that being said, we got to talk about Maryland Representative Glenn Ivey, who decided to copy Chris Van Hollen, who is a Democrat senator from Maryland, by going to El Salvador to try to save Abrego Garcia. Now, they claim that this is for visitation. Well, we want to do a wellness check. Now, how many of these individuals have done wellness checks on their own constituents? Who knows, right? But this is what they're doing. They're doing wellness checks on illegal immigrant, alleged gang member, wife beating, human traffickers, right? This is what they're doing. And unsurprisingly, this guy, Glenn Ivey, got denied by El Salvador when he pulled up to try to save Abrego Garcia, okay? And he's pissed off, right? He's fuming over the fact that they're not allowing him to see Abrego Garcia. Take a look.
Again, I was here in El Salvador 2 years ago, but I came this time to visit with Kilmar. And I was deeply disappointed and frankly angry that we were not allowed to get in to see him. We had reached out. I'd had a meeting with the ambassador from El Salvador to the United States. We met last week, and I told them we were coming and we wanted to meet with Kilmar. So they were aware of that. We also had direct communications with other members of the government, so they knew we were coming. And we talked with our ambassador, who also reached out to the government here. So the fact that they didn't let us in fact, they told us at the gate that we had to go back to San Salvador to get a permit, which is ridiculous. This is an international visit. I'm a member of Congress. I should have the opportunity to visit with my constituent. And the United States has a contract with El Salvador. Apparently, we haven't been allowed to see that yet, but the United States has a contract with El Salvador, and the money that comes from that has to be authorized by Congress because we have the power of the purse. So I had an oversight opportunity here that was not permitted, and I think that was a big mistake on the part of the El Salvadoran government. But the bigger issue is the Trump administration, because I know that President Trump could pick up the phone, make a call to El Salvador and have Kilmar released and sent back to the United States. If he made the call, he'd be back within hours. So the Trump administration has been dragging its feet. The Supreme Court of the United States told them to facilitate Kilmar's return. They have not done that, which I think is a clear violation of the Constitution. And it's important for us in Congress to support the judges in the United States who are making these rulings and to continue pressuring the Trump administration to comply with the law.
Yeah, see, seeing that, you heard that. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. These people are calling illegal immigrants their constituents, right? I want you guys to understand the language that Democrats use tells you everything you need to know about how they feel about illegals. They feel like illegals are basically American citizens, right? This is what they feel. This is why they want the illegals to stay. This is why they use your taxpayer dollars, our taxpayer dollars, to feed the illegals, to house the illegals. They give them driver's licenses. They want them to vote, right? They don't want the GOP to be able to stop illegals from voting. The reason why is because they feel like these illegals are their constituents. In fact, they value the illegals more than they value the American people, okay? That is the honest to God truth, okay? The fact this man is calling an illegal immigrant his constituent tells you everything you need to know about how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs the Democrat Party has become, okay? So without further ado, let's learn a little bit more about this visit.
Congressman Glenn Ivey tells WJZ he was denied access to speak with Kilmar Abrego Garcia today after flying down to El Salvador over the holiday weekend. Abrego Garcia was living in Prince George's County and working in Baltimore when he was mistakenly deported to his home country in March. WJZ
mistakenly deported to his own country. Like I told you guys, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. These people are boohoo whining and crying about Trump deporting illegals to South Sudan, right? They was upset about that, okay? Because, well, they weren't deported to their home country. But they're also boohoo whining and crying about Abrego Garcia being deported to his home country, which tells you everything you need to know, right? That they just don't want the illegals to be deported, period.
He is live at 11. Tara Lynch spoke exclusively one-on-one with Congressman Ivey over the phone. So, Tara, I guess the congressman says he was not allowed inside the prison. What does he do now?
Well, Denise, the congressman told me he needed a permit to access the prison, which he called ridiculous, saying he just wanted to check on Abrego Garcia's condition. Ivey told me one-on-one exclusively tonight that he wanted to also pass along some messages from Abrego Garcia's wife as well as his attorneys, because right now Abrego Garcia is being held incommunicado and hasn't spoken to these people in months.
We were trying to meet with Kilmar, and that did not come together. I was frankly very angry about it.
Congressman Glenn Ivey was in El Salvador for 3 days with the goal of meeting with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man who was living in Prince George's County and mistakenly deported earlier this year. The congressman spoke one-on-one only with WJZ, saying the U.S. ambassador informed the Salvadoran government of the visit, but still he was denied access.
You can't come in, you got to have a permit or something, which is pretty ridiculous. It's an international delegation here.
He also wanted to check on the conditions at the lower security facility Abrego Garcia was moved to last month. Ivey says he wants to see how American tax dollars are being used to house these deportees in the contract between the U.S. and El Salvador.
Congress doesn't even have access to that information yet. At least, Democrats don't. We need to get that. We've got the power of the purse. We've got a constitutional obligation to make sure that money is being used in the right way. But we can't figure that out if we don't even know how much is being spent.
Again, you know what's so crazy about this is that this Democrat, all of a sudden is so concerned about how government money is being used, right? And we got to make sure that the money is being used the right way. But yet, this is the same guy who was raging over Elon Musk, making sure that government money is being used the right way.
Part of the what we want to try and do to prepare for 2026, because we've got to win. House Democrats have to win in 2026. Got to do it. And this is the step to take. So you get, we're doing letters right now. For example, one of my colleagues, Jerry Conley, I think it was, sent a letter out demanding that Elon Musk come and testify before the Oversight Committee in the House. Now, here's the thing. The minority doesn't have the authority to issue a subpoena to make him come, right? Only the majority can do that. Only the Republicans can do that. And they ain't going to do that. But in 2027, after we get elected in 2026, I bet Elon Musk's subpoena, that's going to be number one that goes out. That's going to be number one. So, yes, ma'am, we are.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. I want you guys to understand, this is how Democrats think, right? They don't care about how the government uses funds for anything else, right? No matter how much they waste. They don't care. These people don't care. Now all of a sudden, the federal government is using money, justifiably, to house illegal immigrants in other countries very cheaply, right? And now all of a sudden, Democrats care about the use of funds, right? They want to do some oversight on the funds. They want to hold Elon Musk accountable for making sure that funds are being used properly, right? That there's not waste, fraud, and abuse. Again, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing how these people think.
Capitol Hill, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, who visited Abrego Garcia last month, questioned Secretary of State Marco Rubio about why court information is under seal and not being released publicly about Abrego Garcia's case.
And I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State.
What I won't comply with is an order to disclose what I'm saying and what we're talking about with a foreign leader, because then they won't talk to me. Diplomacy doesn't work that way.
We're going to continue to press the Trump administration to have him return, like the Supreme Court said should happen, and so he can have his day in court and have his due process.
Now, the Maryland federal judge who is overseeing Abrego Garcia's case has set a myriad of deadlines between now and August, and what's really shaping up to be a very complicated legal situation. It's not going to end very quickly like the judge initially wanted it to. For now, reporting live on your corner in Baltimore City, Tara Lynch, WJZ.
Again, the easiest way to solve this would be to bring them back and then immediately deport them, right? Immediately deport them again to somewhere else, right? South Sudan, right? And then let them cry about that. At least at that point, they won't have the excuse of, well, he's not supposed to go to El Salvador, right? They claim he didn't get due process, but he did get due process. They just think that due process means illegals should be allowed unlimited appeals, right? This is what they believe, okay? They believe that when a judge tells an illegal, hey, you can't stay here, you got to go back, that the illegal should just be able to appeal it forever, right? That is what they believe due process is. So they also don't really understand oversight. They believe that because they're doing quote-unquote oversight, they should just be able to pull up on any detention center or to pull up to some foreign country and demand that illegals be released. And that's not how oversight is supposed to work, which is something that the woke Democrat from New Jersey, who is facing charges for attacking ICE, right, assaulting ICE on camera, LaMonica McIver, found out the hard way. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Well, what these members are saying is legally absurd. It's not oversight to show up at a facility and try to force your way in. If that were as part of Article 1 authority, you could have 535 inspectors general running around the country just barging into federal offices. That's clearly not true. So what they're saying in the media today is not likely to be repeated in the courtroom. They can certainly say that they were there as part of their oversight function, but to actually force your way into a federal facility to break through a security line or go through a security gate is not part of any oversight authority that I know of. Now, you can go and you can subpoena agencies, you can even get a court order to get access to areas, but you're not allowed to just muscle your way in at the head of a mob.
Okay, so Rep. McIver appeared on another network earlier this morning, Jonathan, and placed the blame squarely on ICE for the escalation. Listen.
Entire situation was escalated by ICE. They caused the confrontation. The Justice Department and Alina Hoppe wanted me to admit to doing something that I did not do, and I was not going to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to roll over and stop doing my job because they, don't want me to, or they want to neglect the fact that we needed to be in there to see what was going on in that detention center.
Your reaction to that?
It's a damn shame that we live in a country where it has become normal for one political party to just lie about reality, right? Right? Like we see it on video. You assaulted an ICE agent, right? We saw it. Instead of just admitting it, right? And just saying, hey, yeah, like I did it or whatever. Nah, I didn't do that, right? I didn't do what they're accusing me of doing, even though it's on camera. And the worst part about it is that the media plays the footage while this individual is denying what we're seeing right in front of our eyes. And the anchor doesn't press the Democrat on why is it that you're lying to the American people about basic reality, about what we're watching on video. It's really stunning. It really is.
That, Jonathan?
Well, you're certainly allowed to go to a federal facility to see if there's something unlawful going on. You're just not allowed to go to that facility and commit something unlawful. And that's what this video shows. They were told they could not come in. They did not have prior approval. The gate was open to allow a car or truck to go through. And then they tried and succeeded in breaching that security gate. That's nothing in that is legal. Nothing in that is part of oversight. That is stepping beyond what you have authority to do. Now, she may have a great advantage here. Much like Judge Dugan in Wisconsin, this trial would be held in a fairly favorable district. A jury could very well engage in jury nullification and just vote on the cause and not the crime. But there is a cognizable crime here. Now, does that mean that she's looking at 8 years? No, this is still a relatively minor skirmish here. But to say that this was within the domain of Article 1 and congressional authority is facially ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. Just like going to El Salvador to save an illegal immigrant is ridiculous, right? That is essentially what the Democrat Party has become, a party of ridiculous people. Absolutely. So, again, this is what we have here, right, with Democrats. I'm not sure how Democrats are going to move forward with trying to win back the American people with this type of extremism in their party, right? They become extremists on illegal immigration. And the crazy part about it is that they don't even know it. They don't even realize how extreme they become on this issue because they hate Trump so much. They feel like they have to oppose Trump no matter what, that they've exposed themselves as far left as you can get, right? You can't be more possibly far left on illegal immigration as the Democrat Party is right now, okay? They're flying to other countries to bring illegals back into the country. They're fighting ICE, right? They're assaulting ICE on behalf of illegals, okay? That, along with Joe Biden's open border policies, the policies of his administration, yeah, I mean, they're as extreme as you can possibly imagine. And as long as they're this extreme, they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance whatsoever. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.